Coach, love one comment. Raise your hands up for me for a second.
How we doing today? Sorry I'm late, but we had a little function with some alumni people who support the program, and we really do appreciate what they do. It really helps us to be able to provide the resources to have the kind of program that can help our players be more successful in life relative to personal development, academic support, career development, development on the field as players. So all these things are really important. Uh, Tuesday and Wednesday practice has gone well. You know, the players seem to be working hard to try to improve, which is the number one goal of what we would like to do. We've also been able to expose them to some things they're going to see down the road, which is also something that is a goal, you know, for this week, and trying to create a balance between getting some guys healthy, resting them, not asking them to do too much, so that maybe we can get a little healthier for this sort of stretch run at the end of the season here, with some very challenging games coming up. So, you know, we'll practice tomorrow. We move everything up an hour tomorrow, and then, you know, we'll give the players off a couple days, and hopefully it'll be a good break for them. I know you're going to ask me, you know, about injuries. I think I addressed the Miller Forstall thing, which was something that really just came up on Monday. That was really unexpected, but he is doing well. Tua was able to took some snaps today in practice, did a few things on air, was not involved in any team situations. And again, this is going to be a day-by-day, game day decision, and there's nothing really else that I can say about it. I can tell you that his mentality has been really good in terms of how he's working, the things that he's doing, and how he's progressing, and his attitude toward trying to get back on the field and trying to progress. So that's always a good sign.
Coach, with the tightrope surgery, considering how it's kind of considered innovative still, what made you so comfortable using it a couple years ago with your players and still using it?
Well, we have, I mean, you know, Dr. Andrews, Dr. Kane, that whole medical group in Birmingham is, you know, they're some of the top people in the country. You know, they have a lot of NFL players that go see them. They've got great rehab center over there. They have Major League Baseball pitchers that come to see them. I mean, they just have a really, really great reputation. And, you know, I always allow them to make, or we always allow them to make what they think is the best medical decision for a player and his future. And we've had really, really successful, we've had a lot of success with this surgery in the past. I think maybe Cam Robinson might have been one of the first guys to get it probably 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, he got a high ankle sprain in a Tennessee game and played LSU in 2 weeks, and, you know, he played every play in the game. So a little different for an offensive lineman, as it might be for a skill guy. But it really has enhanced the ability of our guys to come back, and they haven't had any issues or problems in the future. So, I mean, it's amazing to me all the things that they can do in medicine now that I know back when I played, none of these things were available. Yeah, but, you know, this is a ligament issue. You know, the two bones where they come together in your ankle, there's a ligament that holds them together, and that stretches. So when you tie it together, the ligament actually has a chance to heal, because one of the biggest issues is it's a rotation injury. So every time you turn a little bit on your foot, all right, those bones move, so it affects healing. So if you hold the bones together, the healing process is much quicker. So that's the way I understand it. I'm no doctor, but I only know that our guys have responded fairly well to the surgery in the past.
Y'all have used offensive linemen in different ways this year, the unbalanced lines, and using Chris Owens and Kendall Randolph as a tight end. What do you think the offense gains from using offensive linemen in different ways like that?
Well, I think to make certain plays effective in your offense, you have to have the ability to block the edge. You know, I call it the C area, which may not mean much to you guys, but, you know, the third spot away from the center. So there's a couple ways you can do it. If you got a big old tight end that's a good blocker, he can do it. If you run tackle over and put an extra tackle over there, there's another way to do it. Or you can just take some of those guys and put them in a position so you don't have to move anybody else around, so you're not changing what they have to do. Now, a guy's got to be fairly athletic to do it. With both of the guys that have been able to do it for us this year are. So it's been somewhat effective for us.
Back over to Charlie.
What does it mean to have both Terrell Lewis and Trayvon Diggs producing like they are, given that they weren't on the field for you guys this time last year?
Well, when those guys have been on the field, whenever it's been, they've done extremely well. Both guys have had a little bad luck with, injuries, through their career. And, hopefully both guys will be able to stay healthy, to finish this year. They're both playing well. They both make plays. They're playmaker type guys. And the more guys you have like that, it's like three-point shooters in basketball. When you got them, they make a lot of threes. When you have playmaker type guys, they make a lot of plays, whether it's batted balls, pressuring the quarterback, knocking balls down, tackling guys, reacting quickly to plays that helps them recover in certain situations. So, and both these guys have certainly demonstrated ability to do that.
What has been your impression of Joseph Bolibus the last few games, and what is the outlook for Will Reichert moving forward?
Joe probably kicked as well in this last game. When you look at the whole body of work, hit the ball well, got it up quickly on extra points, field goals. Kicked off with good direction, and I did what we asked him to do in that regard. So, we're encouraged that he is doing well, and hopefully his confidence will continue to improve, and that will help him continue with his consistency, as a kicker. Will Reichert, I can't tell you. This has been a very frustrating injury for him and for us. And he had 2 or 3 weeks where we thought he was ready to come back, and then he had a setback. So we're going to be really cautious with how we bring him back, this time around.
Stay on that side with Billy.
When you're evaluating a player, coming back from an injury and whether they're going to be able to play, kind of like in Tua's case, how much consideration do you give, I guess specifically with him, to, within 6 months, he may be, very top NFL pick, and just sort of, is that at all part of the equation for you in making an evaluation?
Well, I wouldn't care whether a guy was a first-round pick or, had no future as a player. I would never put a player at risk if the medical staff, the player himself, and everybody involved in the organization didn't think the guy was capable of going out there and doing his job at a high level. It wouldn't create any value for him, and it certainly wouldn't help us. And we certainly don't want to put anybody at risk. This won't be any different with, how we decide whether this guy is capable enough to go out there and play at a high level and go out and do his job well for his team. And I know he'll want to play, but the big thing that I always ask a player, and I tell him, I know you want to play. Tell me, can you go do your job? Can you move? Can you be effective in what you're doing? Because if you can't, you're really not helping yourself, and you're really not helping the team. So I always ask the player, even after Doc says he's ready to go, what they think. Because I think that means a lot. It means a lot to a player. The old Joe Namath story when Coach Bryant went and said, how you feel? And he said, it hurts. And he said, Coach Bryant said, it's all in your head. And Joe said, it still hurts. So it does make a difference, what a guy thinks, what his confidence level is. And nobody really knows that except the player.
Are there some, just to your point about whether it's somebody with no pro prospects or very good ones, Are there is it the how do I say this? There could be something where maybe it's something that could lead to a chronic thing, not necessarily doesn't show
Well,
up.
I don't
but-
really know that that's the type of injury that he has. There's no history of that in this injury. But I think to get to your point is, look, we've had a lot of players around here that have gone and done extremely well in the NFL and been high draft picks. But I guess the question would be, did they create value for themselves by being great competitors, always making choices and decisions that were best for their team, always making choices and decisions that were best for themselves in terms of what they could do to contribute to creating value to their team? And, people still value guys that want to always make the right decision about what they do. I know when I was the 8 years I was in the league, people always said the warrior mentality. This guy's really tough. He plays hard. He can play, and things don't bother him. He's not going to be on the sidelines if he gets a little nicked up or whatever. So I'm not saying every player is capable of that, and I'm not saying every player is like that. All right, but the question is what really creates value for you? If you can't go out there and play with any consistency and you don't have durability as a player, is that a positive or a negative? All right, so there's another side of that to look at. Now, I don't really try to promote that with the players, all right, but I'm just saying there is another side to all this, that if you're capable of playing and you choose not to play, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I think everybody still. Look, we get asked a million questions about our players. They ask our players a million questions when they go to the combine. And if they ever have any issue, I don't care what it is, any issue at all, they're looking for reasons not to pick the player. So they're going to ask them about that. And the player better have a good explanation for it. All right, so Tua has always done everything around here that he can actually do to help the team. And he's always made great choices and decisions. He's smart, he's bright, and I don't think that he would put himself in a position, nor would we want to put himself in a position where what he does moving forward would have any effect on his future.
Two more quick ones, Brooks, and then Cecil.
Against fast-paced, spread offenses like LSU, how do you establish backfield pressure, get adequate coverage when they're getting the ball out so quickly and moving high pace?
Right. Well, there's a lot of teams that do that now, and we try to practice against it a lot. It can be limiting, on defense. We try to figure out, when do these guys want to go fast? LSU doesn't go fast all the time. They look at the sidelines a lot, to get the call from the coach who's trying to figure out what defense you're playing so they can be in the best place, and it can help the quarterback to know where he's going to go with the ball. So, and then when you go fast, you don't really know what the defense is going to do. So it works both ways. You could have a play called fast, and they do a certain thing, and that play's not good against that. And I think that's why some of the teams have slowed down a bit, right, because there was too much of that happening. And I can only give you from our experience, every time we would make a big play the last couple of years, all right, we wanted to go fast down by the goal line. We'd complete a ball to the 2-yard line. We'd go fast. All right, then run sticky blitz and bring guys off of both sides, edges, and we can't block them, and the back gets blowed up for a 2-yard loss. So who is the smart guy on that deal? All right, so it can work both ways, all right, when you try to do that. But they're very good at it, and they're very effective, but they do pick their spots when they want to go fast.
Last question.
Coach, other than not giving injury updates, do you have any plans for your birthday tomorrow?
I'm really kind of focused on what I'm going to do when this press conference is over, which is talk to recruits, watch practice film, get more ready for LSU so we can have a good practice, relative to that tomorrow. And then when that's all over, it's going to be whatever Miss Terry tells me to do. all right, which is usually how it is when I get time off. You know, around here, I get to tell people what to do, but when we're off, I get told what to do. So, and I'm okay with that, really. I think I'll enjoy it for a day or two.
Okay, good.
All right, thanks.